History got this completely wrong. In 1936, archaeologists opened an ancient jar and found a battery. 2,000 years before Volta. What they discovered rewrites ancient technology. The year was 1936. German archaeologist Wilhelm König was cataloging artifacts at the Iraq Museum in Baghdad when something stopped him cold. Among the pottery and coins from a Parthian village sat a peculiar clay jar, roughly 15 centimeters tall. Inside was a copper cylinder, and suspended within that, an iron rod. The configuration made no sense for the period. König recognized it immediately. He was looking at a galvanic cell. The same basic design Alessandro Volta would patent in 1800. But this artifact was dated to sometime between 250 BCE and 224 CE. Nearly 2 millennia before Volta was even born. But here's where it gets really interesting. König found not one, but 12 of these devices. All identical. All deliberate. Someone in ancient Mesopotamia had manufactured these systematically. The question that would haunt researchers for decades: what were they actually for? To understand why this discovery shocked everyone, you need to know what a galvanic cell actually does. When you place two different metals, like copper and iron, in an acidic solution, something remarkable happens. Electrons begin flowing from one metal to the other. That's electricity. The Baghdad batteries had every component necessary: copper cylinder, iron rod, and residue analysis revealed traces of vinegar, or wine. An acidic electrolyte. And the evidence reveals something unexpected. The copper showed distinctive corrosion patterns consistent with electrochemical reactions. Not random decay. Active electrical discharge. In 1940, König published his findings. The archaeological world responded with polite dismissal. Impossible, they said. Ancient peoples couldn't have understood electrochemistry. They had no framework for it. No scientific method. But König kept pointing to the physical evidence. These weren't decorative objects. They were engineered. If this is already making you question what you learned in school, that like button helps more people discover the truth. The dismissal might have been the end of the story. But in 1978, something changed. Egyptologist Arne Eggebrich decided to stop theorizing and start testing. What archaeologists found next changed everything. Eggebrich built an exact replica of the Baghdad battery using identical materials available in the ancient world: a terracotta jar, copper cylinder, iron rod, and grape juice as the electrolyte. He connected a voltmeter. The needle moved. 0.5 volts. Enough current to power a small device. But Eggebrich didn't stop there. He connected several replicas in series, boosting the voltage. Then he placed a small silver figurine in a gold chloride solution, and ran the current through it. Within 2 hours, the figurine was electroplated with a thin layer of gold. Perfect gilding. Using technology that supposedly didn't exist until the 19th century. The archaeological community went silent. The evidence was no longer theoretical. Ancient Mesopotamians had achieved electroplating nearly 4,000 years before modern chemistry explained how it worked. Now you might be wondering, if this technology actually worked, where's the evidence of its widespread use? But the real answer is even more impressive. The evidence was hiding in plain sight for centuries. Ancient Mesopotamian and Egyptian artifacts show gold plating so thin, so uniform, that modern analysis cannot explain it through fire gilding, or gold leaf application alone. Fire gilding requires temperatures that would damage certain delicate objects. Gold leaf leaves visible seams, and irregular thickness. But electroplated gold? Molecular bonding. Perfect uniformity. No seams. Researchers examining gilded artifacts from Ctesiphon, the Parthian capital, found coating thickness consistent with electroplating. 0.1 millimeters, or less. Uniform distribution across complex surfaces. The kind of precision you simply cannot achieve by hammering gold leaf onto copper. Think about that for a second. The Parthians were running essentially the same electrochemical process that modern jewelers use today. Without understanding atomic theory. Without knowing what electrons were. Pure empirical engineering, refined through generations of trial and error. But, everything I just told you about electroplating? That might not even be the primary purpose. The mystery deepens when we examine the medical texts. Ancient Mesopotamian physicians documented treatments involving the application of metals to wounds. Copper, and iron specifically. And here's what nobody expected. Modern medicine validates this. We call it galvanotaxis. Living cells actually respond to electrical current. White blood cells migrate toward injury sites faster when exposed to small voltages. Wound healing accelerates. Bacterial growth slows on electrically charged metal surfaces. The Baghdad batteries produced exactly the voltage range that affects cellular behavior. 0.3 to 0.8 volts. Mesopotamian doctors may have been using electricity for wound healing 2,000 years before we understood cellular biology. The devices weren't just for making pretty jewelry. They were medical equipment. And if you want to see the complete picture of what else these batteries might have powered, subscribe now because we're just getting to the most shocking applications. And this is what they discovered when researchers examined the temple contexts. Several Baghdad batteries were found near religious sites. Temples. Sacred spaces. The Parthians inherited religious traditions from Babylon where priests demonstrated divine power through miracles. Imagine a temple where metal statues seemed to come alive with mysterious energy. Where touching a sacred object produced a tingling sensation. Where priests controlled invisible forces that common people couldn't understand. Now imagine you're an ancient worshipper experiencing your first electrical shock. You'd believe you touched the divine. This wasn't deception for its own sake. Temple economies depended on demonstrating connection to supernatural forces. The batteries may have powered religious theater that maintained social order for centuries. But wait, there's one more clue that changes this entire picture. In 2012, researchers discovered something about the bitumen seals on these jars that nobody had noticed before. The seals weren't just waterproofing. They were engineered to regulate gas buildup during the electrochemical reaction. Ancient Mesopotamians understood that their batteries produced hydrogen gas, and designed safety features accordingly. So here's what the evidence actually shows, and this is the revelation that rewrites technological history. The Baghdad batteries weren't a single accidental discovery. They represent systematic engineering developed over generations. The Parthians didn't stumble onto electrochemistry. They inherited, and refined knowledge that may trace back even further, possibly to Babylonian or Sumerian experimenters. Consider the precision, standardized jar dimensions, consistent copper to iron ratios, uniform electrolyte concentrations, engineered safety seals. This wasn't folk craft. This was industrial process. And when the Parthian Empire fell to the Sasanians in 224 CE, this knowledge didn't disappear because it wasn't understood. It disappeared because the social structures supporting it collapsed. The temples closed. The craftsmen scattered. The electroplating workshops shut down. Within generations, the technique became legend, then mystery, then forgotten entirely. For 1700 years, humanity reinvented nothing. Until Volta, working from first principles, recreated what the Parthians had mastered through pure empirical observation. Two paths to the same destination. One forgotten, one celebrated. Today, the original Baghdad batteries sit in the Iraq Museum, survivors of the 2003 looting that devastated the collection. Some were recovered. Others remain missing. And the debate continues. Skeptics point out that no wires have been found connecting these devices. No written instructions for their use survive. The electroplating hypothesis, while demonstrated in the laboratory, hasn't been proven as the definitive original purpose. But here's what skeptics cannot explain: the design is too precise for accident. The materials too deliberately selected. The corrosion patterns too consistent with electrochemical activity. Whether for gilding, medicine, religious demonstration, or purposes we haven't yet imagined, ancient Mesopotamians created functional electrochemical cells. They achieved this through observation, experimentation, and engineering ingenuity. No supernatural explanations needed. Just human intelligence, applied over generations. And that's the real revelation. Our ancestors weren't primitive. They were brilliant. Working with limited tools, but unlimited curiosity. The Baghdad batteries remind us that technological progress isn't linear. Knowledge can be gained, lost, and regained. What other ancient innovations are we still missing? The Baghdad battery isn't just an archaeological curiosity. It's a humbling reminder that we don't have a monopoly on innovation. The Parthians solved problems we assumed required modern science. They achieved results through empirical methods that we can barely explain today. And they left behind proof that human creativity doesn't wait for textbooks. It experiments. It fails. It learns. It succeeds. For over a century, we dismissed the Baghdad batteries because they didn't fit our narrative of progress. Linear advancement from primitive to sophisticated. Caves to computers. But reality is messier. Civilizations rise and fall. Knowledge blooms and withers. And sometimes, the answers were found long ago, lost, and waiting to be found again. The next time someone tells you ancient peoples couldn't have achieved something remarkable, remember this: they built functional batteries in clay jars, gilded objects with molecular precision, and possibly healed wounds with electrical current. All without understanding a single electron. Never underestimate human ingenuity. It's been remarkable for far longer than we knew. Speaking of ancient technologies we've only recently decoded, there's another discovery that challenges everything we thought about ancient engineering. A mechanism found in a Greek shipwreck that computed astronomical positions with precision that wouldn't be matched for another 1,000 years. The Antikythera mechanism. A bronze computer from before computers should have existed. And when scientists finally cracked its secrets using modern imaging technology, what they found inside changed our understanding of ancient Greek capabilities forever. But that's a mystery for another investigation. If you found this journey through ancient electrochemistry as fascinating as I did, subscribe and hit that bell. Every week we decode more lost knowledge, proving that the truth about our ancestors is more impressive than any myth. What ancient mystery should we investigate next? Tell me in the comments. The evidence is out there. We just need to keep looking. Now you know the truth about the Baghdad batteries, ancient electrochemical cells that generated real current, possibly used for gilding, healing, and temple demonstrations. Our ancestors were geniuses working without our scientific framework, but achieving remarkable results. The mystery isn't whether they could do it. They did. The mystery is what else they achieved that we haven't rediscovered yet. Until next time, keep questioning the conventional wisdom. The answers are more fascinating than the myths.